back, commentary comrades, into our second episode looking at this case regarding Romy Rome Raw, aka real name Dwayne Austin II. Um, yeah, but I of course say Puppet Man. So today's episode is going to focus on the support that he's gotten since this whole debacle, namely the support from his wife. Okay, but let's go back a little bit. Let's go back before we get into all of that, because she's been going live as well, right? Where's the article? That's probably way down here. This is my YouTube channel. If you're watching from TikTok, follow the YouTube. Although I'm thinking of moving away from YouTube. Last episode, this is just a reminder of who we're talking about here. This man, Dwayne Austin II, is a content creator. This was everywhere, and of course, he's currently charged with attempting to lure and stalking a 13-year-old girl, which he denies and says he will be vindicated. So let's look at, because where we left off in the last episode, we were discussing the fact that he does have a criminal record and his behavior as a content creator with his puppet, Romy Rome Raw, as you see here in this screenshot. There's the puppet that he plays with. There it is. Again, is a puppet that is known for pushing the envelope and being very perverse in the way that he speaks. So it wasn't too far-fetched that he would tell this girl, does she want to be friends with benefits? He always made sexual jokes on his platform to the commenters, to other content creators that joined. 9 times out of 10, it was going to turn into something sexual. Always, 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 always. And they didn't have a problem with it. People who came to his platform, they knew that's what to expect. And they would go along with it. I don't recall anyone being offended by that in particular, but the ones who were turned off from it, they just stopped watching because they felt like it could be too much. Like, he would go there. Anything he could think of, if he was making fun of someone, another content creator, he would dig all up into fantasies about them sexually. There was this one content creator that he said he had dreams about them. And he would say this stuff to get that shocked response. Like, things I won't even repeat. He would go there with these extreme sexual innuendo, very detailed, very explicit. And so that's who he is. He is known, and his page is called Romy Rome Raw. So it was all about pushing boundaries, being super explicit and raw with his language, with focusing on sex and sexuality. Like, that was the main gist of all of his comedy skits, whatever you want to call it. And even, like I said in the previous video, making fun of situations that were serious, such as grape. He would make that into a joke, okay? And everything I'm saying is allegedly in hearsay because I don't have the clips handy to back it up, right? But let's go to something recent. I don't have to have clips to back that up because he's still doing it now, because it's still in his nature. It's still who he is. Okay, so we're gonna get to his charges, but he was on this content creators live, who I won't mention because I don't care for him either. He's a clown as well. I will say this though, he claims he has a recording of him confessing to whatever occurred with that 13-year-old girl. So he says he's all about truth and justice and he just wants to help. Why hasn't he turned that recording over to the Upper Darby PD? Because all he wants is clout and attention. He doesn't stand on anything. He contradicts himself so much. Like, in one breath, he'll say he's all for truth and helping, and then the next breath he'll say he doesn't want anything to do with it. But I thought you're about for truth. I thought you're about for justice. I thought you're trying to stand up for this victim. This live right here that he did, he was trying to get him to confess publicly, really, and basically asking him questions, but he refused to show up without the puppet. So he was basically asking the puppet questions. You see how ridiculous this is? We have an alleged 13-year-old victim, a girl, and he's sitting up here with this puppet, making it out of a joke, and this guy at the top, he's sitting up here with a court judge wig on, which is what he calls it, whatever, and asking this puppet questions. This is a 13-year-old girl who has experienced something allegedly, because maybe she's telling the truth, maybe she's embellishing. We don't know. Let's wait for the facts to come out. I will say that, I'm not going to, even though based on the behaviors that I've seen, I'm leaning towards guilty. I know in the court of law, that doesn't hold up until proven, okay? So again, I'm not defending him. I'm just trying to cover myself legally. I'm not willing. There are some people who are willing to get on here and say, yeah, he did that. He's flat out guilty. I feel something happened. But I'm not going to sit here and say what, because I wasn't there. I don't have any video footage. I don't know. But this guy at the top here, he claims he has a recorded confession. Why hasn't he released that confession to the police? He also claims he's a do-gooder. He's out here to, right wrongs, champion of justice, helping people. And he's sitting on this recording. Allegedly, this guy's got to go to court this Friday coming up, January the 9th. Don't you think you need to get that evidence to them as soon as possible? See, that's why I say this guy's a clown. He's all in it for clout and attention. And basically, he's helping make a mockery out of it too, because he shouldn't have even entertained this. But basically, Austin came to his platform with the puppet, and he was just downplaying the whole situation and deflecting and, downplaying the gravity of the situation with this puppet. Okay? So still up to his shenanigans. He's got himself into this terrible, terrible situation, and he still hasn't learned his lesson. He's still up to the shenanigans. He's still making a mockery out of everything that's serious. This guy, he never learns. Like seriously, you are being accused of something very, very serious, and you're still clowning, right? You're still clowning. You still ain't learned nothing. Ain't learned a thing. Okay, pardon my grammar, but that's what it is. That's what it is. And again, for the guy at the top to have alleged evidence of a confession, and he's not turning it over to the police department, that ruins his credibility, because his whole platform, when he first came out, he was trying to take down another content creator who was accused of messing with a minor as well. And his whole following was based around others who agreed that that content creator needed to go down, needed to have charges pressed, needed to have any other potential victims come out and be willing to speak. Because up until that point, we had some semblance that there may have been other victims, because when he would go live, that particular content creator, they were always much younger than him. But we didn't have proof of their ages, for a lot of them. And the ones that we thought we did, I won't say we, I'm just an observer. I don't know these people. I don't inbox them outside of social media. I don't have their phone numbers. I don't know where they live, unless, they say where they live in what particular state. And that particular content creator actually does live in this guy's state. So, he pretended he was championing getting him off the streets. And really, if you really think about it, all that was for clout. So you can't really take this guy serious as being a truth finder and champion of anything. So these are two peas in a pod, basically. Now, I think if there is a recording, even though he's acting like he's against him right now, that's a cover-up. That's a cover-up, because they were friends. They were cool. There was allegations that, well, I won't get into all of that, but they became very close. So if there is a recording, he's putting forth this new storyline that he's out to bring him down, but he really isn't. If there's a recording, he's going to protect him and keep it, because why haven't you turned it over? Unless it was a lie, which again shows that he doesn't really take the situation seriously. Why would you lie about that? But yeah, he has all these people who are looking at him as this beacon of justice, this beacon of morality, this beacon of what's right and what's wrong, and standing up against it. And he's just playing in their faces. Like, are you fools? This man is just an attention seeker. That's it. That's all. He doesn't follow through on anything. And the things that he pretends he's going to follow through on are ridiculous. Like right now, he's trying to go after another content creator over empty threats that he knows are empty. Forget about that. Get back to this 13-year-old little girl who needs someone in her corner. And if you've got something that will help her as a minor who has experience allegedly stalking and luring from this almost 50-year-old man, don't you think you need to be championing her cause? If you allegedly have something that will help with that, again, i.e. a recorded confession, and again, if you lied about that and you don't have that, that again speaks to your character, a character of a wolf in sheep clothing, that people would follow your every word and not realize the fraud that you are and continue to be, allegedly, again. So that's it on that. I kind of went off on a tangent though, probably. Let's get to the charges, okay? Back in the day in 2000, Austin pled guilty to corrupting a minor and statutory sexual assault, as you see here. He got probation, and he was confined for at least 11 months, 15 days, 23 months, so forth. So because he was put on probation, a lot of people felt like, well, are these real charges? Because he would deny it and say, oh, that's not him. It has the wrong birth date. It has his name spelled wrong. All the aliases leave out the notation of him being the second, because there is someone before him with that name in his family, and there is someone after him with that exact same name in his family, but they are the third, right? So he kind of slid by as a content creator when these first hit the internet. It's because a lot of people looked at it and they were like, well, he says that's not him. They take it at his word. And even when I first found out, because a lot of people are just now finding out about this document, I saw this document 3 years ago, but I took it for his word because, he said the birth date was wrong and the names being all, I didn't know there was a such thing as someone having all of these aliases and a wrong birth date on such a legal document. So as you see here, he has like identity theft. So maybe he was good at using these aliases, because in my mind, I'm thinking you have to look at their driver's license or their ID. So the main thing that made me believe him that this was not him is because I couldn't find him on the registered sex offender list. He wasn't on there. He wasn't on there. So, it just kind of went away. It went away. But now that he's got these current charges, and in the news, law enforcement basically said those are his old charges. Well, now we know. We can't say, oh, that's someone else with a similar name. And it doesn't look right that he has these old charges. And then years later, here he is again attempting something with a minor, allegedly. Now, there are many in his corner who say he will be vindicated. Maybe he will. Maybe he will. We don't know yet. And his wife is one of them. And as she should. Okay, let me just say that. As his wife, that's her duty, to stand by her man. But she could do it in a more graceful manner. Because at the end of the day, you have an allegation made by a child, a girl, you also have a daughter, and you could be show a little bit more decorum in how you stand by your man. But no, she's just as silly as he is as far as how she responds to things. She's been very dismissive. She's been attacking commenters, cussing them out. She even did a live, basically saying the same thing she's saying here in these screenshots. Someone politely says, you have to take accountability for putting yourself in this position. That's a very great statement. This person is not cussing him out, not calling him a pedo, not saying you did that, you're guilty, like I've seen other comments say. This person is simply stating that whatever happened, he needs to take some responsibility for his shenanigans that got him put into this situation in the first place, which I know, like I said, I don't know what happened. I wasn't there, but knowing what I know about him, it was some shenanigans. Him and his shenanigans have got him caught up in a very serious manner. And at the very least, like this commenter stating, he should take accountability for that. At the very least, he should take accountability for putting himself in this situation. Okay? This isn't a situation that 46-year-old men find themselves in on the regular. No, it takes a certain ignorant clown to get themselves put in this kind of situation. Okay? And he's one such clown that would do it. Allegedly. But his wife says he doesn't have to take accountability for that. For getting himself put in this situation. Again, even if he's completely innocent, he wasn't trying to lure, he wasn't trying to stalk, he put himself in that situation to be accused of it. In some way, shape, or fashion. Which according to his side of the story, he was trying to help a little girl still, and then he paid for it. Which again, ignorant and shenanigans. That was his original story of what happened. And that proves the point, that he put himself in that situation. But here she is saying, no, you don't. Oh, so it's okay that according to his side of the story, he was going to help this little girl or wait for this little girl to steal and then pay her? Oh, okay. No accountability for that, huh? So we're just living lawless out here, engaging in criminal activities out here, receiving stolen goods out here, which again, those were in his charges, his old charges that we pulled up. So we got old charges of him receiving stolen goods and old charges of him messing with a minor. And both of those came into play again all these years later. Wow. And then she's giving the laughing emojis, saying that she's cracking up. There were those who said, oh, that's not her. That's him using her account. And it's true. He's known for logging into her account to go live with his puppet when his has been, restricted temporarily and things like that. But when she went live herself, she said these same things. She said it was hilarious to her. We're good over here. No, he doesn't. I know my husband. We're good. This is just hilarious. These itches and these that and these. She said the exact same things that's in these screenshots. So that wasn't him typing as her. This is what she actually feels. She feels it's a laughing situation. That is so crazy to me because again, even if that little 13-year-old girl is lying, this is a serious situation to be accused of. Show some decorum, show some respect for the fact that there are victims out there like this every day who are real victims. Again, not saying the girl isn't a real victim. We don't know yet, and you don't know yet. How many women think they know their man and then it turns out they're a monster? You can't sit here and say what someone will do 100%. Because there's no such thing as knowing anyone 100%. And if you think there's such thing as knowing someone 100%, you've already set yourself up to be made a fool out of one day if you haven't already. So that's what really, disgusted me with her standing by her man, which again, that's her duty. And that's fine. But don't be so vocal about it and don't be so dismissive. This is not a joking matter. This is absolutely not hilarious. But again, he's the same way. So this is a family thing to dismiss and make fun of serious matters, such as luring a child. And because of that, she's put herself in a ring of fire. They're saying, well, maybe she aids and abets him in soliciting minors or, other types of things. She must be a part of it, And her comebacks are so weak. It's always your mom, your mother. No, that's you and your mother. What? You're missing the point here. You're sitting up here laughing about this, and your husband stands accused of trying to lure and stop a 13-year-old girl. This is not a laughing matter. Again, it doesn't matter if he's going to be vindicated. And it's proven to be a made-up story. In the midst of things, the situation itself. So it's just not a good look on her. And I feel like even if he is vindicated, no one, several people won't look at her the same or him the same because of how they're treating this very serious situation until it is found to be untrue, if it's untrue. Because there were originally reports, there were some content creators who said they spoke with her and she was leaving him and she was upset and the house was going up for sale. You know how rumors start whenever something controversial happens. But no, none of that's true. Not based on what she's been saying and that live she did. Nope, absolutely not. She's sticking by her man. If it was something going on behind the scenes, she's not letting anyone know. And yeah, again, we just have to wait and see how this all plays out. But yeah, that's the end of this episode. I don't know how many episodes there will be because really, I feel like until we get to the bottom of what happened, there's just so much more that could be said, but not until we know for sure what happened. So again, everything here is allegedly. All parties are innocent until proven guilty. And for his sake, he better hope that that's the case. So yeah, Thanks for tuning in.